Hi Angela. I think these are looking good. I'm happy for you to continue with the reflections. The only comment that I'd make, uh, well, hopefully it's a constructive comment, not a negative one, is um, I think that you have some images on your contact sheets that are stronger than you have on than you've edited for your 12 images. So I'll just go through these really quickly. Um, so this one, I talked about trick of the eye, trompe l'oeil, not meaning trompe l'oeil specifically, but really good reflection photography is um, where somehow it becomes mysterious, and it's hard to tell where one thing begins and the other thing ends. So what's a reflection, what's not. So between the fakeness and reality. So for me, I wouldn't have put either of those in. Uh, they just don't work that well. And the reason that I'm doing this on um, the colour photos is because I think the colour photos look much, much better than the black and whites. I don't think the reflections come through very well in black and white. I have another student that was doing this kind of work in black and white, and it had the same problem. The colours help for you, the shades change slightly in the reflection, so they help you to be able to read in such a way. I did like this one. Um, I, I would be inclined to see if you. I'm trying to see if the perspective is straight. I guess it is there. It's just these ones that aren't. I'll jump into Lightroom in a minute and show you some things that you can do. Your images look really flat on here, and or just some of them really. And I would, pump them up a bit, give them a little bit of contrast. You can do a lot in post. Um, these and this are almost the same image. It's the same reflection. So don't double up on anything. I don't think you need to. You have enough images. This one, I didn't even know this was a reflection. I figured it was because I knew that's what your work was about. It's really kind of strange. I wondered about what would happen if you flipped it. Let's see. Because when it's like that, I can tell what I'm looking at. It's the rocks and the bank. When you have it the other way, it actually just looks like a house, above some rocks. It's very difficult to tell that it's a reflection at all. I'm going to leave you to make a call on that, how you want it to be perceived. But I did have a little bit of trouble reading that as one. Ones like this, I really don't like tilted frames. It's one of my pet hates, unless there's a reason for tilting it. You can fix that in Lightroom, but I'm going to lose a lot of the picture trying to fix something that's tilted that much. So try to get your horizon lines straight. These ones I thought were really interesting. There may have been others on your contact sheet that I like better than this one, but I did think that this is a really successful one. This one is pretty successful, and I really like this image, and I also like the one of the mannequin in the red dress. I thought that also looked very interesting. And this one I think works well. I know that I selected this one. There's another one that's quite hard to tell it's a reflection. And so I went back and forth between the other one that you showed me and this one, and I wasn't sure which one to go for. There's something about the aesthetics of this and the geometric design, the composition, which I felt was stronger, but it's not as easy to read as a reflection. This one I think worked really well. And this one, I feel about this one like I do about this one. They're just reflections. There's nothing else going on. So the ones where, this reads like a picture, and um, um, so let's see. And this one, it reads like a picture with a reflection in it. This one too, I can kind of see them as reflections. This, where the branches are almost touching, they're mirrored from each other. Um, and, this one had potential. I may be able to fix it in Lightroom. And this one, I do kind of like it when you have it upside down like that. Sorry, that's my, someone's texting me on my phone. It comes through on the computer. But this one I just felt was a little bit ordinary. But this one was much more interesting. I'm curious too with this one, if you flip it. Yeah, if you flip that, it actually looks like the scene. Interesting. So it's got to go down. So I just want to jump over to the contact sheets. So I really liked these experimental ones that you were doing up here. I don't know where the colour is coming from. It must have been something you were doing in post, but I think both this blue one and this brown one over here are really interesting, and I would consider putting those in, but they do have a different feel than the other images. You have to excuse me because I have to go into full screen to see these a little bit better. There was, see, just before I come out of that, just making sure there's not any others there. So on this one, sorry, not that one, I really liked this one a lot. And I would include that. You've got a lot of contact sheets, I realise. I also thought that some of these were interesting, and because there's so many images on the contact sheets, I may get it, I may actually select images that are actually already on there, but I think that this one is really interesting, and I also like this one, where you're reflected in the water. And I know you'd selected one of these. If I had to choose one, it would probably be this one because of the sunlight coming through here, or this one, so 50/191 or 49/191, and this may have been the one that you actually selected. I'm just looking at the ones down the bottom. I do like this one. Again, this is the geometric nature of it, and I really liked some of these, but sometimes they look better, in this small size, like this one, or this one, or even this one, and I think that they're worth keeping in. I kind of like this one too, because I wasn't showing this one when you showed me the others. So I really like her, and I thought, that they're such similar images. Can you put two together? I would put it in for the next work in progress. We can take it out later if need be. And then moving on from there. I loved these, especially this one and this one. this one. So quite a few of those. I don't know which one I would select out of those. I know you selected one of them and I can't tell which one, but I kind of like the ones with this stick in, so it creates this really graphic shape in the middle. I thought this one was strong, and this one, and I also liked this one. So with these ones, this was a house, so I'd get rid of the bridge image. Saves you having to worry about straightening it. You have so many good ones on the previous contact sheet that I don't think you need it. Yeah, I like the one that you selected from there. I think it's strong. So some of these I thought were really interesting. I thought this one was really successful, and this one, and this one, and even some of these ones in the middle, but we don't want to get too repetitive, so one of these three I would put in. So with these ones, you know, I have to admit, I was starting to find it hard to choose. I think this is really strong, and this one, and this one, and this one. I know that doesn't help you very much, but at least you can take out some of the weaker ones and put in some of these nature ones. So with these, I'm wondering whether to switch it out for this one so you don't have the converging lines in it. That's probably what I'd do, and then none of the rest of them. I'll just jump over to Lightroom for a minute. So taking this one, for example, let me just come out of effects, go back up to the basics. So I would boost your highlights, and I would increase the contrast. I would bring up the whites a little bit, not too much. Then add a little bit of clarity. And you know, that's probably all you need to do, but just to see how it's kind of, it looks a bit grayed out. Just make it a little bit punchier, and you can just do that with the, you know, the basic settings. I'm not a big fan of changing the vibrance or the saturation, but some of your images are coming up a little bit flat, and I just think you need to put a little bit more oomph into them. You know, so those would be the main things that you would change. And take the highlights back down, actually, just lower them a little bit. I try where possible not to change exposure. You can also go into HSL, which is hue, saturation, luminance. So if you just want to make the sky a bit bluer, you could adjust the sky and the model without increasing the saturation of the overall image. If you felt that there was too much yellow in the image, you could pull some out of it. But you can also do this, which is really cool. You can play with the luminance. So I know that there's yellow in the reflection, so I can lighten just that reflection without or darken it without adjusting anything else. So I have some control over that. So it's something, you know, I play with quite a lot as hue saturation. Well, I don't usually do hue, just saturation and luminance. And let's see. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. I was just seeing about straightening up the lines. In older versions of Lightroom and Camera Raw, they were under lens corrections, but they moved it to transform. This just looks a little bit different than the way it's done in Camera Raw, but I think that this should work. Maybe I'm thinking that maybe I'm just pushing it too far, but yeah, I wouldn't change it. What I was trying to do was these kind of keystoning in. It might actually be a horizontal correction, but it's distorting the body so much. But I'm thinking that probably about there is where it should go. And yeah, having something like that, you know, it still looks on a lean. But anyway, you can see what I'm doing. So there's all sorts of ways that you can kind of play with these settings, and you know, that was the original. And I'm going to go back to before I put those perspective settings, and that's the newer one, or of course I could just put them side by side. So that's what I would recommend doing, just giving your images a little bit more pop, because some of them are flat. If they already have a lot of pop, you don't need to do anything with them, like the orange building. But where they're coming up too flat, I think that you should use a combination of just, you know, the basics, and then the HSL settings. But this is all looking good. Can you please re-edit to what I suggested, and you can submit those as part of the next edit, as well as adding new ones into it.